Well, hello, everybody. Hello, ADNC fam. It is Friday, and as we like to say, Friday or TGIF, whatever way you want to look at it, it is Friday, and the weekend is afoot. And although I said I would always wear bright colors, I'm wearing gray, but I'm sending good vibes. So even though I'm wearing gray, I got a very colorful and nice message here going on. Hey, Gloria, happy Friday. Happy Friday. I hope you have good plans this weekend. I hope you're doing good. So while we wait for more people to join and talk about this super important topic, I just wanted to find out, has anybody download the African Diaspora News Channel app? I hope you have. And if you haven't, please, by all means, download that app. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. Just head over to your Google or Apple store, download the app, and drop a download emoji in the chat. Let's get that app. Let's get that app. You definitely want to get that app. Hey, Buckhorse, how you doing? It's not Miss Canada. Remember, it's Miss Ghana. Don't forget, Miss Ghana. Miss Ghana that lives in Canada. Oh, Gloria, I'm so happy you're here too. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me on this Friday before the weekend. I very much appreciate all of you joining me live. Very much appreciate hanging out with you all. So thank you so much. So today's topic, immigration. Immigration in Canada, which is literally a hot mess express, a dumpster fire. Okay, it is so bad here. But before we get started, I'm going to say hi to a few more people. Hi, Paul Numby. Hi, how are you? Hey, Black Rose. Much love back to you. Devon Williams. Hey. Good evening. Yes, thank you, Buckhorse. Ms. Ghana. That's what it is. Which foreigners? Well, I'm going to break that down for you. But first, we're going to talk about this crazy number of foreign nationals, as they're calling them in Canada, that were ordered deported and they have vanished into the ether somewhere. Not sure where, but Frank Caputo, who is one of the members of the House of Commons, put our Minister of Public Safety on the hot seat and questioned, where the heck are all these people? So the new Minister of Public Safety in Canada, his name is Gary Anandasangari. So you can guess what his race is. He is a South Asian. So before we get started, I'll just say hi to a few more people. Hi, brother man. Hi. Isaac says this seems like more Oregon harvesting cases. Well, I don't know about that, but definitely there's something wrong if you have all these people missing and we don't know where they are. We can't account for them. Hey, KB, how are you? Good evening. Good golly, Miss Molly 07. So let's watch this hot seat inquisition that took place between Frank Caputo and Gary Anandasangari. And then we'll talk about it more.
How many foreign nationals are awaiting deportation in Canada?
Mr. Caputo, I can get back to you, or I can ask Mr. Gorman to advise.
Why don't we actually refer to Mr. McCrory, VP for Canada Border Services Agency? According to Blacklocks, he said 30,000 foreigners awaiting deportation. Number one, that number is shocking. More shocking is that you don't know it. Where are those 30,000 people?
Mr. Caputo, I'm not here for a spelling bee. Let me be very clear. Okay, so if your intention here is to...
Let me just stop that for a sec. Did you hear what Gary Anandasangari said? He said, Mr. Caputo, I'm not here for a spelling bee. He didn't, this isn't a spelling bee. This is a direct question. Where are they? I just wanted to just point that out. He said a spelling bee. Oh my gosh. This is a hot mess. Anyway, let's play on. Sorry.
Minister, you're the minister.
I will
stops. You, minister. Where are the? How about this, minister? You won't tell us where 30,000 people are. How many of them are lost? How many do you not know where they are? Just a number.
Mr. Caputo, there's 30,000 people who are going through the system and they're going to be removed. They're in queue. We know their addresses. We know where they reside. Many of them have reporting requirements. They regularly report to our CBSA offices across Canada. There's sometimes telephone reporting. So there's ongoing monitoring for those who are being removed. Not in all cases, but the vast majority of cases. We have addresses for individuals who are in the removal queue.
So you're telling us you are confident you know where those 30,000 people are?
Not every single one of them, but I believe we have.
What number? What percent?
Well, Mr. Caputo, if you want the correct answer, I would invite you
You're
to
the
ask
minister. I'll just ask Ms. O'Gorman, do you know the number, just the number, of what percentage are warrants of those 30,000 removal orders? Just the number, please. Approximately even.
30,000 removals in progress of people we are engaging. We have 32,000 warrants for people that we are looking for.
32, I beg your pardon? There are 32,000 warrants?
People who are in our wanted inventory that we are actively looking for.
I'm sorry. You have...
And I'll point out, all of this is posted publicly. These aren't secret numbers. They're on the CBSA website.
So you know them, but the minister doesn't. Okay. So I'm sorry. There are 32,000 people set for deportation that are on warrant, which means you don't know where they are. Am I clear?
Correct. We are looking for them. And I will point out, these, as I said, are points in time. And so since we last met, we have removed more of those people on warrant. And then, unfortunately, we have had people who have absconded. These are fluid.
I understand.
And
they're
500 CBSA officers doing excellent work all of the time to remove these individuals.
Ma'am, with all due respect, we have 30,000 deportation orders. This is half of Kamloops we're talking about. 32,000 people are lost. I'm just going to leave it there and give the time to MP Kirkland. I'm just befuddled at that number.
So really and truly, what Gary Ananda Sangdaguri should have just said is, I don't know where they are. You heard him say, oh, we have some addresses of some of the people, not all, but some. And then in the end, he ended up looking like a liar because Aaron O'Gorman, who is one of the high-ranking people for the CBSA, which is the Canada Border Services Agency, admitted we don't know where they are. So let me tell you the exact data because, we heard 30,000 and then we heard 32,000. So here's the breakdown here. Okay. So according to the CBSA, okay, 32,740 people, and these are foreign nationals or foreigners, are in the wanted inventory. So that's the 32,000 that are on warrant, I guess you can say, right? And then separately, 30,733 are in the removal process. So that's actually more than 32,000. That's over 62,000, okay, that the foreigners that should not be in Canada. And then we have 32,000 that they just don't know where they are. So this is the situation we are in, okay? Now, let's just read some more of these comments here. Yeah, Gloria says somebody's not doing their job. Clearly, they're not doing their job. And then on top of that, when you sit there, you're not able to answer these questions. Just give me a number. And then he says, this isn't a spelling bee. Like nobody said anything about spelling anything. We're saying, where are they and what's the number, right? And yes, exactly. Okay, he just doesn't know. He doesn't know. Yeah, you know how they can be, maybe those people are working on farms in Canada. I mean, there must be some people that are working illegally. Who knows? It's just crazy that all of these people are just here in Canada. And then you heard Aaron O'Gorman mention that some have absconded, which basically means they failed to appear. And so they're somewhere. And, that kind of explains the saturation that's going on here, and then the amount of crime that's increasing, and just the oversaturation in the healthcare system, the housing system. I mean, so much going on here. Um, so Isaac says the South Asians are getting their wake up. This case in Canada and Vivek and Dinesh here in the US. I mean, he was appointed in that position for a reason. I just don't understand why he doesn't have these answers, right? Like, why weren't you able to sit there and say, you know? Gloria says in other places, and thank you, Buckhorse. He says he understands. Um, Kara Chan says Canada has turned into a dump. Uh, well, there's a lot going on here for sure. But I'm going to break down the foreigners by race. Okay, so three guesses. Who's at the top of the list of the amount of foreigners in Canada right now? Take a guess. I mean, and just in the list of people that are either in the 30 or 32,000, how many do you think there are? Which country do you think it is? I'll tell you, it's India. India right now in the progress inventory is 6,837. Okay. And then followed by Mexico at 5,170. Then we have the United States at 1,734. And then we have Haiti, 1,493. Then we have Nigeria. Nigeria is on the map, 984. Then we have Pakistan, 864. Then we have Colombia at 846. Then we have Brazil at 594. Then we have Chile at 591. Bingo, Isaac, you got it right. It's the South Asians. And then we have 10,171 others from other they say nationalities, ethnicities is what I like to use. And this is Canada, eh? This is what we're going through. And so those are the major racialized groups that fall in this category of people that should be gone and aren't. And they're somewhere roaming in Canada, but we don't know where. And neither does our Minister of Public Safety. So this is a problem, okay? This is a huge problem in this country. Happy Friday to you too, Buckhorse. I wonder if Trump's actions cause any influence in Canada with his own anti-illegal immigration tactics. Well, I'll tell you what. I always compare the liberals to the Democrats as it relates to Canada versus the United States. And when Trudeau was in office, it was a free for all with the amount of immigrants that were allowed into the country. And then he's gone. And then we're still in the liberal area, right? And then Mark Carney comes in, and there's just more of this going on. It's just a continuation of what is happening here. And it's really quite like Frank Caputo said, he is befuddled. I'm also befuddled because when I sit there and I watch these question periods that go on, and these people that are appointed in these positions, and they just can't answer the question, so they deflect. It's just beyond. I never in my lifetime living in Canada ever thought I would see this Canada in this state. I never in a million years thought it would be. Yeah, yeah, so Trudeau destroyed this country, the Laurentian elites. Yeah, I mean, the liberal government for me, it's just like, whew. And for whatever reason, they're still favored. They're still at the top of the ticket every time. So basically, nothing has changed for y'all in Canada. Basically, nothing. Okay, we had Trudeau for 10 years, and now we have Carney who has stepped in, and it's more of the same. Except even with Carney, I feel like he's even more like just anyway. Let me just reserve my judgment for now, and I'm just gonna zip it. But what I will say is I do blame the liberal government for where we're at now, and that's just factual. It's just factual, and trust me, there are people who There are hardcore liberals in this country who are also feel the same way about the current administration, past administration, and then what the state of Canada is in. Exactly. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. That pretty much sums it up. Oh my gosh. So I don't mean to be uncaring. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Many Black Americans tend to think Canada was actually better for Black folks. I'm here to tell you, as somebody who is a Black person living in Canada, that is absolutely not true. That is false, false, false. Not true. And I know that that's the narrative that a lot of Americans think, is that Canada is so nice. And I will say this, when Americans do come to Canada, particularly Black Americans, they are treated really well. They are treated really, really well. And here's my theory as why. This is just my humble opinion. I think when it comes to Black Americans, because I'm a dual citizen and I go back and forth a lot, so I think I can speak on this. When Black Americans come to Canada, y'all come with so much, such a level of confidence and light and exuberance and all of the things that is endearing to Canadians. And so when you come here, your whole vibe is really endearing. So I find what happens is oftentimes they're so nice to Americans and they'll be like, "Oh, you're from America? What part are you from?" And then they say things like, "Are you," especially if you're like a man that's like bigger and taller, they say things like, "Oh, are you an athlete? Do you play for, the Chicago Bulls? You look so much like, I don't know, name one of the football players." I'm sorry, I'm not a huge football fan, but they do those kinds of things. And I happen to know that for a fact because one of my best friends is a firefighter that lives in Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to Raphael Smith. And whenever he comes here, he's a big 6'3" man. Everybody stops him when we're walking down the street. They'll be like, "Oh, do you, excuse me, do you play for the Buffalo Bills?" And they say that kind of stuff. So there's a confidence that just jumps off Black Americans. So when you come here, everybody's so nice and sweet. So that's why a lot of Americans feel like, "Oh my gosh, Canada is so nice." Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. There's a difference between come see me and come live with me. Come see here and come live here. Two totally different things. Uh No, you do not you do not need to move to Canada. Please do not do that. I'm telling you, don't do it. Just don't move there, right? Yes, Gloria, just don't move here. So much evil going on now. Just best for everyone to stay in their own homelands. Exactly. Stay in your homelands, work on whatever's, issues are there. It is not greener on the other side. I promise you it's not. And like I said, I go back and forth all the time. And if I wanted to, I could pick up and move to the United States. No problem. So, you know, trust me, stay tuned. I'm seriously thinking about it. Um, you look like an athlete is stereotyping. It is, but they feel like when they say that to a Black American, it's a huge compliment. They feel like they're gassing them up. And they're also looking for an opening to have the conversation because they probably think that Black American is hot. And I'll say one thing that Canadians really, really love about Black Americans, and it's that accent. That accent, I mean, I even love it. I absolutely love it. So they do love that accent. So that's one thing that's super endearing. How do you lose 30K people at one time? How does that work? Tell me. And we're going to go into that answer. These are the answers anyway, based on what the reports say anyway. How is the tech world there? I mean, it's good. I won't lie. It's not bad here. The tech world is not bad. It's expensive, depending on what tech you're looking at or asking about. It's super expensive. The taxes here are very high, 13% on everything, and then it doesn't help with these tariffs either. So I can't live up there. It's too cold. I really like it in California. I agree. And we're going into the real deep cold. So stay tuned on that. So let's talk about how many South Asian foreigners are here. Well, actually, this is according to 2021 census. There are 2 million, or there were, I'm sure there's more now, but we don't have the public reports. At least it's not public knowledge at this time for 2024 and 2025. But South Asians, 2,571,400. Chinese, 1,715,775. Black, 1,547,870. Okay. Um, exactly. There's too many. As far as the South Asian, they're dominating. Arab is 694,020. Latin American, 580,235. And then Southeast Asian is 390,335. West Asian is 360,495. Korean, 218,140. Japanese, 98,890. And then multiple visible minorities, I guess that means biracial, right? 331,805. And then under the not included elsewhere visible minority, I don't even know what that category means. It's 172,885. So again, this is 2021. Fast forward to 2025, we can just multiply that like over and over and over again, because it's way more now at this point. But those were the only numbers I could get. So now, why are so many of these foreign nationals not being removed quickly? And this is their reasoning. Okay, this is their reasoning. They said the CBSA doesn't remove everyone equally. They prioritize based on risk. So their risk management, they have a risk management regime, I guess, if you will. And it says it puts security threats, serious criminals, and failed refugee claimants at a higher priority. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there's a great number of them that fall in this 30,000 plus 32,000. So again, why? Okay. And then they say lower priority cases can wait much longer in the queue. So in that 30,000 queue, lower priorities wait a little longer. And then they say there are legal and administrative delays. What falls under that? Removal orders are not always enforceable immediately. Many people have appeals. So if you appeal, you can buy yourself some time, basically. Okay. So that delays the removal, apparently. So the paused inventory is substantial for this reason. So there are, like, when these people appeal, they're on pause. And sometimes it can be 30 days, 60 days, whatever the case may be. The other answer they said is travel documentation and foreign cooperation. So apparently this is a major bottleneck. To deport someone, Canada often needs cooperation from the person's country of origin. So if I am supposed to be deported to Ghana, which is where I'm from, Ghana has to also cooperate before I can be deported. So that's another, I guess that's another reason. That sounds odd to me, but I guess they have their processes. And then, of course, people are evading removal, like the ones that have absconded and stuff. So they said basically some people go off the grid. So apparently there are 600 foreign nationals with criminal convictions that are on the wanted list, and those are the ones that absconded and failed to show up, basically. So they are just missing in action. Okay. And then they said resource constraints, and they're talking about data and case management gaps. And at the end of the day, these people are missing. They're MIA. They're somewhere in this country, God knows where, doing God knows what. And yeah, the crime is up for sure. Home invasions, cash grabs, jewelry thefts. They're literally in broad daylight, going to malls, going into jewelry stores, smashing the glasses, grabbing and running out. And the security officers are just standing there. They're like, I'm not even going to bother. And then on top of that, you got people that are walking into liquor stores and just loading up their liquor, walking out, home invasions, car thefts. It's insane. It's insane. So yeah, Gloria, you were asking why these are the reasons that, the CBSA is reporting as to why they haven't been removed. And yeah, they're not properly vetted. That's the other thing. And I'll be talking about that on another segment because from 2022 to now, there's over 5 million visa applications that were approved without security screening. Stay tuned for that one. The Minister of Immigration is on the hot seat for that, and I'll be bringing that to you. That's a whole other big conversation. So think of it, 5 million, no security screening. They were able to just check a box that said, I have no criminal record, and they were let into the country. So can you imagine the dumpster fire that's going on here? They have an effective scamming network when carrying duplicate ID. There's a lot of scams that go on for sure. When Jagmeet Singh entered office, I knew we would have an influx of the folks. Yeah, I don't know where he is either, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, Gloria says, they're just, yeah, a lot of theft going on because they're getting away with it. I mean, oftentimes they're just doing it and running out and nobody's doing anything. And I think maybe too, the security guards are like, I'm so fed up. Like, honestly, I don't feel like chasing these people. Like, we need police officers in the mall. Security officers can only do so much. And a lot of these criminals that are running and doing this stuff are armed with stuff. So you kind of, it's my life or it's jewelry. Which one? Pick your poison, right? So, oh, hey, Ren says, oh, Canada. Oh, say, can you see? They both grow from the same root of the same tree. That's what I'm saying. It's we have our share too. It's not just in the United States. We have our share of immigration issues, which is why Trump feels the way that he does. He feels like, Canada's responsible for letting all of these illegal immigrants into the United States and the fentanyl and all of that other stuff, which is why he's like, you know what? 25% tariff on you people. And I will be honest, our borders weren't as secure. They're doing a lot of work now to make it more secure with helicopters and more dogs and all of the other things to help catch all of that. But for the longest time, we were really subpar as it related to border security. It wasn't great. You got terrorist groups in Canada. Yeah, we do. We do have them. I just the other day I was showing you a group that was marching around in Niagara on the Lake in the park talking about taking Canada back and preparing for combat and all that stuff. So, yeah, we have them here for sure. They do exist. And some Americans think Canada is all sunshine and rainbows with me riding horses. Well, yeah, like I'm here to tell you it's not. We come with our share of issues too, just like every country does. We do. And so, I'm here to take my pool stick and put that ball in the quarter pocket there and debunk that myth. No vetting process like the Biden administration. Yeah, unvetting immigrants. Wonder why. The Most High sees it all, people. Yep, Canada is finished. Well, hopefully, I'm holding out hope. I'm really holding out hope because, whew, my goodness, when I saw those numbers, 32,000 on warrant and then 30,000 in queue, and you don't know where the 32,000 are, it's like, what? Like, am I in the twilight zone here? Ah, Miss Missy, you say crime is being allowed to happen. I mean, there's that's another one. This catch and release that's going on here. Another topic. I'm telling you, there's no shortage. Yeah, pick your poison. Exactly. Uh yeah, the fentanyl. It's a thing for sure. Yeah. Yeah, yes, we do have racist groups. Absolutely. And they're unashamed to be out there marching and holding up signs. So it's not like I'm making it up. They're out here. They're totally out here. And not to mention the fact that systemic racism exists as well as covert and overt racism, racial profiling exists. All of that exists against black people here. and it's not going away. I mean, I've been living here since I was a little bitty thing, and I'm telling you, it exists. I've gone through it many times. My family, friends of friends, coworkers, it exists. It's funny to watch all of this go on in Western countries when we're so anti-black for no reason. We aren't terrorists. We aren't here to. Yeah, yeah. We aren't. I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit up here and say that there aren't black people here in Canada that are committing crimes as well. My point is, right now, with the amount of uh, foreigners, as that's what they want to call it, which are immigrants and non-immigrants, that are in this country unaccounted for, is problematic. And I did try to find out. Give me the breakdown of what the races are for this 32,000 and 30,000. And of course, in true fashion, they didn't have that breakdown for me. But I did try to find out. But if I were to wager a guess, yeah, I'm just saying. I have a feeling it's a specific race that's at the top of the ticket when it comes to this. If I have to guess, the government is allowing crime to happen to implement new surveillance policies. Possibly, not sure. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a gap somewhere and there are some balls dropped somewhere. If you have over 62,000 people that are not supposed to be here that are here, and you only have addresses for some people, and Gary Ananda Sangari says that they're talking to some people, and you have some people in queue, but you don't know where the 32,000 are. There's obviously some balls dropped here. Yet they open the gates to those who are the very threat against them. Listen, you can go back and watch it where we had India's foreign minister who had said that he warned Canada. He warned Canada about letting the South Asians in, and he said that a lot of them are into criminal activity that they were doing in India before they even came to Canada. So when I go back to what I said, which is over 5 million people between 2022 and now were let in, their visas were granted without security screening. This will be why we're in this situation. Thank you for the respect. Appreciate it. Ren says, you're making me not want to visit Canada at all. Well, listen, I will say this. I will say this. If you came to Canada, you would like it. You would like it. You would love it. You would like it. You would have a great time. Because, like I said, there's a difference between visiting and there's a difference between living here. So, if you're here for just a week, you will probably have the best time of your life because you're here for just a week. And most times, just like me, whenever I go to the United States, I'm going for entertainment. I'm going to have a good time with my friends and, and some family members that live in the United States. So all the places that I'll be going will be, major tourist attraction places or nice restaurants and things like that. So of course your experience is going to be great. And everybody that comes to Canada wants to come to Niagara. So, you come to the falls and there's so many fun things to do in Niagara. That's why the slogan is Niagara never sleeps. And, if you're into casinos, there's casinos. So there's so many fun things that go on here. So you would probably have a great time, especially in the summer. So I'm not suggesting that nobody should come to Canada. I'm just saying if you're thinking of coming to Canada to visit and then based on your visit, you're saying, okay, I'm coming to move here. That's where I'm going to step in Auntie M here, Auntie M. And I'm going to say, do not do that. Don't do it. That's all I'm saying. But I think everybody should visit Canada at some point and, see for yourself. Yes, exactly. It is good in the summertime. It's really beautiful in the summer. Really beautiful here in the summer. And there's so many festivals. There's this jerk festival, this festival, all kinds of festivals. And a lot of the celebrity entertainers come here, like Johnny Gill and all of that. Like there's all concerts and stuff go on. So many different Caribbean festivals as well. So, and then there's the annual festival, which used to be called Caravana, and now it's called I don't even know what it's called anymore. There's so many different iterations, and I don't partake in those events. But the Caribbean festival, where everybody comes and so many Americans come down. So it's a good time for sure. Um, you're right. It's the reason Canada and the UK is a mess. Are the French speaking parts of Canada worse? Oh, JJ, let me tell you. Let me talk to you for a second, JJ. So I grew up in Quebec. I like to refer to it as the racist province of Quebec because that's where I experienced the most racism, covert and more overt than covert, the most brutal racism. So, yeah, and that's a French speaking part of Canada. Then there's also New Brunswick, which is also another French speaking primarily part of Canada. And yes, to that place too. So, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. And if you don't speak French, it's even worse. So, a Black person living in a French speaking province that doesn't speak French, it's a double discrimination that you go through. So, the short answer is yes. Okay. Okay, Buckhorse, see you in Canada. Come on. But I would wait until summer unless you like cold weather because it's about to be really bad here. Ah, yes, exactly, Gloria, for 1 week and then return to the place where you live. Yes. Yes, visiting and living are two very different things. I'm pretty sure, I always say I love New York. There are certain places in the United States that I really love. I love New York. I love Maryland. I love Ohio. There's certain places but I go there and I come back and I may spend a week or two, sometimes a month. So I'm not there like, I don't live there. So I love Houston. Houston's one of my favorites. But I'm pretty sure everybody who lives in these places can tell me something different or something, negative. So that's just how it is, right? Yeah. Was there every people getting enslaved? Oh, heck yes. Well, you know, over 200 years of it in Canada, Bizarro. Over 200 years of it. And if you want, look up Africville, Africville. Just look up Africville, Nova Scotia, and you'll see the story of what happened to Black people that lived out there in the 1860s and onward and what they went through. And there didn't just also look up slavery in Canada. There's so many stories about slavery here. Okay. And even today, like with, for example, migrant workers that come and work on the farms and the way that they're treated, it is a form of modern day slavery. Absolutely. So yeah, they were here. And then of course Harriet Tubman brought a lot of the enslaved through the Underground Railroad, and they settled in Niagara and other parts of Canada. And people like to argue and say that Harriet Tubman didn't actually free the slaves because they were still slaves. And to some extent that's true, but she did free them from the kind of bondage that they were going through in the United States. So when they came to Canada, they were working, they were building, and sometimes they were like maids and servants to people here, but they were not treated the way that they were treated in the United States. So yes, there were enslaved people here in Canada. So English is your only language? Yeah. I speak three. And because I went through so much anti-Black racism here in Canada and living in Quebec, my parents sent us to French school because she was like, I'm not going to have my kids, and there's 7 of us, out here in these streets and not understand what the people around you are saying. So we went to French school until we started high school because she wanted us to be 100% fluent. So, yeah, it's important here because I think in the United States, the bilingual or the 2 languages is English and Spanish, right? Where here in Canada, it's English and French. So, anybody that's living here should know how to speak French. And it doesn't even matter whether you live in an English speaking province, because there are some provinces like Ontario is primarily English speaking. So, but I do think everybody should know French. Absolutely. You're most welcome. Yeah, Africville. Hogan's Alley. What else can you look up? Just look up slavery in Canada, and you'll find out there's so much that goes on. There was so much that went on here. There's a global imperialist movement agreed upon bunches of billionaire bloodlines. I mean, oh, I've always loved New York too. I love New York. The streets are so alive in New York. Love New York. I also love Vegas too. Cain was white, Abel was black. I mean, yeah. And one didn't make it. It is very smart to learn their languages. It's very important to learn the languages around you. And my parents were like, because when we would go out in the street, they would be speaking French, and for what who knows what they were saying or what were they were instructing each other to do to us and all that other stuff. So yeah, my mother was like, education and learn the French. We're not having you out here blind like that. No, no, no. And this is the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like, no, where there was no cell phones where you can like videotape people and all of that. So yeah, we needed to know what the heck everybody was saying around us. So yeah, my parents didn't play. My Ghanaian parents did not play. Yep, watch the body language too. Yep. Canada rock. Okay, yeah. I mean Canada rock. It's a baseball and hockey state, that's more Canada. Thank you. I always thought Black people ran to Canada for freedom from America. Some of them did. It's just that when they got here, it may have been a little bit better, but for some it was, and for some it was not. So, but again, it wasn't as bad as what the slaves were going through in the United States during those times. So, Harriet Tubman, we call her the Moses of the Underground Railroad. She brought a lot of people through the Underground Railroad, and she settled in St. Catharines, Ontario. In fact, there's still a church in St. Catharines, Ontario, where she worshiped and did abolitionist work, and she had meetings and all of that stuff. And the original pews that she worshiped in with the other freedom seekers still exists in that church. So that's another thing that I would encourage my brothers and sisters in the United States. If you ever do visit Canada, one of the things that I would definitely do is look up Tubman Tours Canada. And I would arrange a tour to come and see that church. And then there's also a bunch of Black history monuments and cemeteries where a lot of the freedom seekers are buried, and there are parks, the Voices of Freedom Park. And there's a lot of things here that pay homage to a lot of the freedom seekers. So I would definitely put that on your list. And the resident historian here in the Niagara region, her name is Rochelle Bush, and she's a wealth of knowledge. There's an open house at the church every Monday to Friday from 11 to 4. So you can do a self-guided tour. They have the original cotton that was picked. I mean, it is really an experience. So that's another thing I would strongly urge people to do if you ever come and visit Canada. In Niagara, that's what you should do. Yes, exactly. And that's why I did learn. That's why my parents did make us learn. So we know that when they're talking mess about us, we know exactly what they're saying. And then we also made a point of not letting them know we knew, you see. So we would be sitting there listening to them, and we'd be ready. We would be ready. And it was a brawl for all on a daily basis, disputing daily. I'm telling you, daily, until they finally realized, okay, these Black people aren't getting here, and we're tired of getting our behinds whooped. So we're just going to just leave them alone and just leave them alone. Not the infamous 32. Yes, wow, indeed. uh, is my family originally from America? No, my family's from Ghana, West Africa. But at a certain point, my parents lived in Baltimore, Maryland, and then they lived in Western New York for a while because my father was doing ministry out there. So for a while, he was living in Baltimore. And so because they were living out there, which was like for over a decade, my father wanted us to have citizenship so we could come and go and not have issues. So he's the one who arranged for us to have dual citizenships. And to this day, I'm so grateful because I was really young when my parents were living out there, and I loved Toronto. Toronto was the thing. So I was like, I don't need no citizenship. I don't need to be. And my father was like, you'll thank me later. And he's right. So because now it's so much more difficult to get it. Back then, it's like we're talking 80s. And that's when he got it for us. So I'm so grateful. So yeah, no, my family's not American. I will come to Florida. I love Florida. I will come there for sure. Yes, whoop whoop Ghana. Ghana is the best. Woo! Yes. Yes. Africa unite. Hebrew. Yep. Yep. You can go to Ghana with no issues. Well, I can because I also have my citizenship for Ghana as well. So, Ghana, the United States, Canada. I mean, right? It's amazing. So two continents. Uh Wonderful parents. Thank you. Yes, my parents are wonderful. I am abundantly aware of how blessed I am. And I have the best parents. Uh, you had a friend from Africa in college. He went to University of Nova Scotia. He said it was very cold and lots of deep snow. That is true. That is true. Uh, the winters here are no joke. There's sometimes where you get inches and inches of snow and you can't go anywhere. There was one year where we got so much snow, they ended up sending in the military with those massive tractors and stuff to like clear up the snow. It was so bad. Yeah, this is Canada. Uh, how was it for me for school growing up in Quebec? Oh, there were some moments that weren't good. There were some moments that weren't good. I had a teacher who was an anti-black racist, and she was always finding a reason to pick on me, and I was the only black child in the class, and I was 6. And that's to tell you how I never forgot this. I was 6, and I had spilled some chocolate milk, and she referred to the chocolate milk as the N-word, and she called me the N-word, and she pushed me to the ground and made me clean up the chocolate milk, and she gave me a dry piece of napkin. So I was crying and I was rubbing, trying to clean it up. Then she hit me in my back and called me the N-word again and said, stop, and this is in French. She said, stop squishing the chocolate milk around the floor. And then the whole class laughed at me. And I went home and I told my father about that. Let me tell you something. That was when my father wasn't saved, okay? And my father went down to that school. Let's just say nobody ever touched me again. That teacher, I was removed from that teacher's class. And back then, there weren't many schools. So, there wasn't really many options to pull me out and go to a different school. So I still had to go to that school. But that's just one of many experiences of just really just horrible, horrible anti-black racism, just being attacked physically, verbally, rock fights, stone fights, you name it. We've had all kinds of brawls, all kinds. It was bad. So that's how it was growing up in Quebec. But, it gave us strength, thick skin, and, being able to really defend ourselves, which is a good thing, right? Because fast forward to today, it's still happening. Black people in Quebec are still going through it. Black people all over the world are still going through it. So it's good to, have some knowledge, have some skills, have some education, have some squabbling skills. So yeah. Are they Jamaican that have been deported? You see, they're not saying what race. I tried to find out that information. I even made some calls to find out, give me the breakdown, and they didn't really say, but there might be some Jamaicans in there. There may be some Africans, definitely South Asians. I think it's a mixed bag. But just that number, 32,000 and 30,000, is alarming. I've never seen anything like that living in this country ever. Yeah, that teacher was not a nice teacher. She wasn't. I can even still remember her whole face at the age of 6. That's to tell you the trauma of it. Yeah, yep. In the UK, I've been to the UK because I've got cousins that live there. So I've been there to visit. And yeah, the anti-black racism is there too. And I see a lot of stories coming out of the UK with police and all kinds of stuff. Yes, thank you. Great job, father. I will tell dad you said that. Canada is officially the South. Yeah, they call it the Great White North. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, they can be. They sure can be. Anti-black racists can be, for sure. So you grew up in Quebec, Brascarag. So you know what I'm talking about if you grew up in Quebec. You know. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm okay, Buckhorse. I'm good. You know what? Like I said, it gave us squabbling skills. It gave us thick skin. I mean, it also gave me a sixth sense. Like, I can smell anti-black racism a mile away. Like, literally, it could be the most covert microaggression or the most overt, and I know it because I've been through it all right across the gamut. So yeah, I'm okay. The champ is here with good vibes. Yeah, I mean it is. It's just pure madness. Yes, the champs are here. Exactly. Was French hard to learn? Well, you know what? It would be hard to learn as an adult. Like at this point, it's not easy. But I started learning it when I was 6. So when living at home, I spoke 2 languages. I spoke mother tongue, which is Twi, which is the Ghanaian mother tongue, and then French. It wasn't until high school that I really started, speaking English more so, but I knew a few. So it's not hard to learn when you're young. I find now it might be a little more difficult. So, but no, it wasn't hard at all because I think it was like second nature. The obsession that people have with Black people needs to be studied. Yeah, there is some sort of obsession. There's an obsession for sure with us, and a fascination, and also a hatred. It's like a mixed bag. It's like an anomaly. They're ambivalent about how they feel. It's like I don't know what to feel about you. All I know is I can't stop looking at you. I can't stop watching you. I can't. It's a lot of that. Yeah, where we're just constantly minding our own Black business, right? I mean, that's what we do. Yep, training. Yeah. Racism is all over the world against our melanated skin. It is true. Oftentimes people travel to China and Japan and places like that, and they go on TikTok or whatever, and they report something that they went through. It's a thing. That's why for me personally, I'm not going to say that I haven't traveled to other countries where maybe I wasn't the dominant race, but in my adult years, I've always made a point of if I'm traveling, I'm going to places where everybody looks like me, or at least the vast majority look like me. So I'm going to Ghana, I'm going to Nigeria, you know, I'm going to Jamaica, I'm going to Trinidad. And by the way, I've been to all these places. I'm going to Antigua, I'm going to St. Martin, I'm going to Nassau. I'm going to the places where I know I can have a good time and I don't need to have to deal with the folks. I want to be able to commune with my people and go to the market and just go get my hair did and some just being in a place and in a space where people are related, where we're related to each other. We can relate from being two Black people. That for me is my thing. So I personally, I make a conscious effort to go to those places. Although I do have some places on my bucket list. Like I would love to go to Dubai. I really would. I would love to go to Abu Dhabi. I would love to go to Greece, Santorini, and Mykonos. Like I do want to go to those places. They're just not a priority for me. That's my thing. Oh, really? Thailand's a bit different? Okay. Well, I mean, it is beautiful and I do love the food for sure. So, shalom, Onita K. So, yeah, family, I mean, I just wanted to let you know yet again what's going on here in Canada. And I'm going to keep reporting on the things that are going on, especially in the political realm, because there's all these bills that they're now implementing that will really affect us. So I'll definitely be sharing those things. And again, we'll keep talking about immigration. We'll keep talking about what's going on here. I'll update you on the removals or non-removals or how many we're at now that are MIA in Canada. But once again, I appreciate you all joining and hanging out with me on this Friday. And once again, I'm going to say, if you haven't downloaded the African Diaspora News Channel app, please go and do that. Head over to your Google or Apple store, download that app. Lots of beautiful things on there, exclusive content. Download the app and drop your download emoji in the chat so I know that you downloaded it, and I give you a big, big thumbs up and clap. You're most welcome, Gloria. You're most welcome. Thank you for hanging out with me. Have a really, really good weekend, everybody. A good and very good weekend, a blessed weekend. I shall see you all right here on the African Diaspora News Channel. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.